Hi guys, it's Nellie, and this is the KitchenSix podcast. And I have no idea what episode I'm on. I think it's 7, maybe. Let's hope it's 7. So I'm in a really squeaky chair, so if you hear it, sorry. I'm at the beach, which I'd show you the beach, but I have this crazy like tripod thing rigged up. I'll put it on Instagram, you can see. It's pretty crazy, but it's working, so I will make do. And my husband is currently on the other side of a glass door trying to distract me, so yeah, he's funny. I don't have any show notes because I didn't write anything down. I'm just kind of doing this by the seat of my pants, and hopefully it's not crazy. So let me start with some actual knitting things, some finished objects, because, you know, I finished stuff, like my socks. Look, 2 finished socks. That just happened. I love them. They're not perfect. One is the gauge is a little looser than the other, so one fits better than the other. One's too loose and one's just right. So, but I did try to match the gauges as best I could. And I learned a lot while I made them, so I'm happy with them. I'm gonna put them on because it's kind of chilly. It's the Washington Coast beach, which means that it's windy and it's about 65, and there's a marine fog layer that's blowing through, and it's a little chilly. So my feet are cold because I'm barefoot. So those are my socks, and they're just, I cast on 72 stitches, and I knit them on, I think size 2s? I don't know, it'll be in my Ravelry. There's a project, and I'll make sure that it's updated today before I get this online. Finished objects. The other thing that just happened, because, you know, I needed another project to do, obviously, was I made a pullover. It's like a poncho thing. I don't know if I can back up far enough that you can see it all. But, so, it's actually meant for a smaller child, and it's supposed to be like really kind of big and bulky on them. But it's got a cowl neck, and it's got these adorable buttons down the side to keep the things closed. And then it's just, basically it's a poncho with a cowl neck and some buttons. And it's amazing. And I totally, absolutely just forgot the name of it. Dang it. It starts with an E. It's on my Instagram feed. I've put it on there while I've been working on it, and there's a couple of hashtags that say what the pattern is. But the designer does a couple of really cool kid stuff patterns, and I kind of like her. So if you and it would probably look not quite so awesome if I had used a plain color, which is what she used in hers, which is great for her, but I wanted fun and bright and cheery, so it's fun and bright and cheery. So, and that's going to my 8-year-old niece today, this evening, which is why I'm podcasting right now, because I really wanted to show you guys before I gave it to her. Sorry, my hair's doing this crazy thing. There's the wind and yeah. Very distracted today. I'm sorry. So what else have I been working on? I did put, so doing it well, I did put a couple of pattern repeats in my, why can't I remember names today? I can't remember the name of this. Hitofude. Oh, I got it. In my Hitofude. So it's got a couple of inches now, and that's one of the things that I'm working on this week at the beach, because we'll be here for a week. But look how pretty it is. It's so pretty. I just love it. And I love it, and I love working on it. One of the reasons that I haven't been working on it as much is because I told you I was on the whole nutrition plan and working out thing, and which is going great. I've lost like over 10 pounds. I'm close to 15 right now. And I'm doing a great job, but I haven't made a lot of time for knitting. And I realized this last week, or the week before, and I'm working on scheduling knitting into my life, because I need knitting. Knitting keeps me sane. I'm sure there's a lot of you that have that too, right? But the Hito Foodie is going really, really well. The other thing that I'm doing, there's two other things that I'm doing well, is I'm making a really simple rolled edge stockinette stitch hat for my daughter, you know, because I needed to make another hat for my daughter. She's got like 5 already. I know, I know, but she's really cute and she really appreciates it. So, but it's what's the yarn? The yarn is soft and shiny. It's from Michaels. It's an acrylic, but it's a really soft acrylic, and the fabric comes out really, really nice. I love acrylics for kids because they're washable. You can throw that in the washer, and no matter how much sweat and grease is on it, it's gonna come out clean and the same size. And I love that because active kids, and they're messy and they do stuff, and you know, my daughter likes to sleep in her hat sometimes, so it gets sweaty and ew, wash her. So I do love acrylics. And then the pullover that I made that I can't remember the name of the pattern, that was 80% acrylic, 20% wool. So it's hand wash, but it's not going to be as heavy, I think, is why. But I love the yarn, and the color was gorgeous, and oh, the sun decided to come out. Hopefully you can still see me. I can't see me because I'm squinting, obviously. Oh, the faces of Nellie today. Hi guys! Oh, my life has been chaos, can you tell? So I'm making this, and I'm about to the point where I'm going to think about decreasing. I don't know, I'll have to measure it and see. I want about 6 inches to 7 inches for her before I start decreases. And I'll probably just do some spiral decreases. I think I did that on the other one that I made that was like this. So, but that should be finished. It's an easy, I did it, we drove for 6 hours yesterday to visit my husband's family in Portland. So I did most of this during that trip. So, but I love the way it's flashing, like it's doing this weird and cool zigzaggy camo thing with, yeah. So the colorway is, it's called Blue Lagoon, and seriously, my daughter, every time we go to Michael's, she makes me buy a skein of this. So I probably have 2 or 3 more skeins of this because she's insane. So, anyway, that's my daughter's hat. And my Hito Foodie. Oh, the other thing that I have is a hat for, I told you I was going to cast on a hat for my father-in-law, and I did. And it's just the basic ribbed for his pleasure hat. It's just a 2x2 rib. Ugh, sorry, hair in my mouth. This is going very, very badly. I hope you guys forgive me for the poor quality, but it's 2x2 rib, and it's this gorgeous, I don't remember the name of the yarn. I don't have the ball band in the bag, but it's this gorgeous tonal blue that goes from light to dark navy, and I don't know if the sun's catching. Maybe, yeah, maybe you can see some of it. It looks really pretty. I love the color, and it's going fast. I've got what, 6 inches or so. It probably needs another. I don't know, because you're supposed to fold it up like that, so it probably needs another 4 to 5 inches before I start closing. But it's really stretchy. The pattern is really, I made one of these for my husband. I don't know if you guys remember, but a few episodes back I made one for my husband. But it's really, really stretchy, and it'll fit a lot of head sizes. I think I'm going to make one for one of our close friends, and probably one for my son as well, because they're really nice hats. I really like them. But when I do the decreases, the pattern calls for 4 decreases, and it does it so that it blends the ribbing into each other, which looks really, really cool, except that when you do it that way, it makes the hat pointy, and I don't like it pointy. and I feel like you have to really squish it down on your head to make it not pointy, and I don't want that to happen. So when I did the last one, when I did the last one, I came up with a way to do 8 decreases and make it round, because eight decreases is it makes it fairly round. So and that's actually on Ravelry. If you go to the rib for his pleasure hat, that's in the gray and green and blue colorway, it's the Hawks colorway that I made for my husband. That the instructions for that are in there. So yeah, if you want to see how to do those decreases, they're in my Ravelry. The sun just got really bright again. Not that I'm complaining, because it's Washington and we love our sun, because, you know, if you talk about it, sometimes you scare it away. Yeah. So that's how that's working, and I have this much left in the ball because there was a break in the yarn, and when I started it the first time, I started something the first time and it didn't work. I didn't like the fabric I was making, so I took it off. But there was a break in the yarn, so I split the ball where the break was, and I left the other bit at home, so I'm hoping this is enough. Let's hope. So yeah, that's the hat for my father-in-law that was up next on my to-do list. And then I was supposed to cast on socks for my husband, and I meant to, but like I said, life has been like literally chaos the last few weeks. It's been really hectic, and there's been a lot going on, so, and I'll cover some of that in the later waffle. But this is, oh goodness, I dropped all the patterns and the wind picked up, and of course, you know, craziness. Sorry for all the craziness. So this is the yarn that I'm going to make. I caked it up. I'm ready to cast it on. I might even make myself do that today. So this is the charcoal gray. It's Cascade. It's I think it's an 80-20 blend with nylon. And then it's really soft and really, really squishy, and I really, really like it. These are the socks that I'm going to do. They're called the He-Man socks. But they do a 2x3 rib, and it has you decrease to 68 stitches from 85, I guess, so that it fits a big leg. But I don't know if I'm going to do that because my husband's really skinny. He's one of the long and lean body types, and he doesn't put on muscle very well, and he doesn't put on fat very well either. If he is going to put on fat, he's going to end up looking like round in the top and skinny chicken legs at the bottom. That's just his body type. That's how he does things. So I'm not super stressed about giving him extra width at the top. So I might just cast on 68 stitches and call it good. But it says use size 1, and yeah, so I'm going to give that a try. And that'll be my second pair of socks ever, which I'm really excited about. He's really excited about them too. He's super, super excited about them. So yeah, that's how that's going to go. Can you hear the wind? It's like whistling through. I'm on our upstairs balcony at our condo, our beach condo. Oh, this is the pattern for the rib for his pleasure hat. It's yeah. So, but you can find it on Ravelry. And that's it, really. I would tell you what I'm cooking, except that I've pre-made most of our meals plans for the next week. We are at the beach, so the kitchen is tiny, and the utensils are few, so I don't have a whole lot of selection. We're basically doing chicken and a vegetable and a grain or a potato every night for the next week. But I did make some lemon sauce to spice things up, and lemon sauce is really, it's really, really simple. So basically you saute some garlic and a little bit of olive oil, like a tablespoon, and I would go with probably 4 to 5 cloves of garlic sliced up, and then you put those in some olive oil and saute them really, really quickly, like 1.5 minutes, because garlic burns really fast. Don't leave it on there too long. And then I add chopped up preserved lemons. I know you're going, what are preserved lemons? Right? So my mother-in-law a few years back showed me these preserved lemon things, and I was like, okay, maybe I'll try those. So I got a wild hair about making them, and their lemons were on sale at Costco, so I was like, hey, let's get some lemons. I'll preserve lemons. Woo, great idea. They're fabulous. They're like the best thing ever. Seriously. Okay, so I made these preserved lemons, and it took like 2 weeks. I sliced them instead of, you're supposed to cut them lengthwise down like 2/3 and then leave the ends together. I'm not that creative. I just sliced them, and I wanted them faster. So I sliced them in about 1/4 to 1/2 inch thick slices. So when, sorry, just give me 1 second. One of my patterns is blowing away. Got it. Okay. Sorry for the crazy podcast. Maybe you guys enjoy it. Maybe you think it's fun and exciting. Let me just have a sip of my coffee, because I'm drinking coffee out of my beach condo mugs because they're plain and boring. Everything here is plain and boring except the people. The people are fun. Where was I? Preserved lemons. Oh, I sliced them like 1/2 inch thick, 1/4 to 1/2 inch thick, and then I used like maybe 1/4 cup of sea salt, and I like layered them with lemons and sea salt in a great big jar, and then I put a lid on it and let them sit on the counter for like, I don't know, a week. I literally kept trying to use them during the 2 weeks though, because I was like, they look so delicious. So what it does is it brings out the brightness of the lemon and cuts the sour. So it makes it really, and it makes it very salty, obviously, because you pack them in salt essentially. So when you use them, if you're just going to use 1 or 2, you don't have to rinse them. 1 or 2 slices, you don't have to rinse them. But if you're going to use like more than 2 slices, you should probably rinse them, because that is going to be salty, 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 salty. So what I do is I take probably 8 to 10 slices and I chop them up, rinse them and chop them up, and I put them in with the garlic, and then I let them saute in there for a minute or 2, and then I add like a can, like what, 15, 16 ounces of chicken broth, and I let that simmer for a bit, and sometimes I add, like last time I added a little bit of rosemary too. And then, what did I do? Oh, then I took probably about 1/2 cup, maybe 1/4 cup of white wine. Just, I keep a Chardonnay, I keep little bottles of Chardonnay around for cooking, and I use, anywhere from a couple tablespoons to a 1/4 cup per recipe. So the little bottles work really well, and I don't worry about the wine going bad. So, because I don't drink a lot of anything, really. Yeah. So, about a 1/4 cup of wine, maybe a little less, maybe 2 tablespoons, with a tablespoon or 2 of flour, whisk it together, and then once the broth and the lemons and the garlic are simmering, dump in the slurry of flour and wine, and stir until it thickens up just a little bit. It's not gonna get really terribly thick. It's just gonna be slightly thick. It's not gonna be like country gravy. That's not what you want. If it's that thick, add some more fluid. It's too thick. It'll still taste good. It'll just not be as intended. So it's supposed to be like a sauce, like a pan sauce essentially. So I made a double batch of that and put it in jars to bring out to the beach with us, so that I would have sauces to put on things, or a sauce to put on things. And my family loves that sauce. It's seriously so good. But yeah, so that's the only cooking thing I have for you right now. I don't have any bling to show you. I don't have shiny new things. I have, because I bought, for the pullover that I made for my niece, I bought 5 balls of that yarn, and I can't remember the name of the yarn because I'm crazy. But yeah, if you want to know, just message me in Ravelry or on Instagram, and I will tell you what it was. I got it at Joann's though, but I don't remember the name of it. And yeah, I think that's it. So I'm gonna put a picture on Instagram of my ghetto setup for my podcast, and you guys can see what I had to do to get you a podcast today, because it's a little crazy. My husband took the picture for me, so I'm gonna have to get him to send it to me so that I can post it. And yeah, I hope you guys have been well. I'm doing really good. This is the first time in a couple of years that I've been able to say I feel amazing. I feel great. I feel like myself again. So that's been really awesome. People ask me how I'm doing now, and I'm like, I'm awesome, I'm doing so good. And they're like, that's amazing, because I haven't been that enthusiastic about how I've been feeling for a while now. Probably close to 3 years, maybe a little more. So yeah, and I'm exercising, sometimes 6 times a week, which is energizing, but it's also exhausting. And if I don't get it done in the early morning, then I have to do it in the middle of the day, and then that cuts like 4 hours out of my day just dealing with exercising and feeding myself afterwards, which is a whole thing. And then I've been spending a lot of time planning meals for myself, because I'm supposed to eat like 4 to 6 small meals a day. So that's been a challenge, and I've had to learn how to make that happen for myself. I've never been very good at feeding myself. I'm great at feeding other people. I can feed an army easy and barely, drip sweat or stress over it at all. But feeding myself for some reason like that regularly stresses me out. So I was really struggling with the whole nutrition plan that I'm working on. And that's part of the reason that I haven't made the time to podcast. I have the time, obviously. I've just applied it to fixing my nutrition plan and getting my food in place and making sure that I'm getting my workouts in. But yeah, so all of that's working. I've lost almost 15 pounds, and I feel great, and I'm doing better, and yeah. My daughter got like a bunch of awards, and we had to go to like 3 or 4 different award ceremonies, and then there was a cheer camper too that we had to do, and my son he was having issues at school with some boys that we didn't figure out until like 2 days before school ended, which was very frustrating. And I went, entirely mama bear and was like, you people should have told me. But I also have to understand that my son does not communicate well. He does not, you get the end story and then you don't get all the lead up and you don't get all the details. So honestly, his teacher wouldn't have been able to pick it out either. And I think the only reason I could pick it out is because I realized that, things have been changing for him behavior-wise and attitude-wise, and he's been getting worse. And I'm like, okay, this is something else that's going on. So I started asking a bunch of questions. And, that's how you get to the bottom of things with kids that don't communicate well. You ask all the questions. So I asked all the questions, and I didn't like what I heard. So we had a counseling session with the school counselor and the principal and his teacher, and we talked about our options for next year, because he's going to be going to the same school, and those kids will be too. And we talked about getting him into a class that has kids that are not that awful, because that's awful. It's awful when your kid's being bullied, isn't it? It was really, really awful. And so I'm on a hair trigger on this one. So we went to visit my husband's family yesterday, and they have his cousin has a child who's like 7 or 8. He's a couple years younger than Jay. But his mom and his dad are both well over 6 feet. They're 6'5", both of them. They're ginormous people. They're giants. I look like a tiny person next to these people. I'm only 5'2". My kids are small. I'm gonna have small kids. That's how my life goes. But the first thing this kid says to my son is, haha, it's funny, you're so small. I seriously was like, that was rude. That was really awful. And his mom was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you just said that. And I looked at her, I said, he's been bullied for his size this year. That wasn't okay. So she took him off and talked to him, but I maybe got a little mama bear immediately. I tried to dial it back, but yeah, so that was fun. I'm just waffling on now at this point. I get to after this I get to try to load this on the crappy Wi-Fi and then go swim with my kids, which means I'm gonna watch them swim while I sit in the hot tub and try to soak out the lunches from earlier today, because yeah, lunches are fun. Not really. Lunches are not my favorite thing in the world. Neither are squats, but they really make the behind look nice, so that's why I do them. Yeah, so if you have questions, hit me up on Instagram or hit me up on Ravelry. I'm checking those regularly. I even check the YouTube, but I don't have a computer. I just have my phone right now. So the easiest way for the next week is Instagram or Ravelry. Yeah, I think that's it. I hope you guys are having a fabulous summer. I hope that you guys are getting all the things done that you want to get done. And I hope that you're getting some knitting time in too, because that has been really difficult for me, obviously. But I'm scheduling knitting now. I've scheduled knitting from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. every day now. So I get to do that. And that's been awesome. That's been really helpful. That's made me actually get stuff done and get progress on things. So yeah. You guys have a great couple of weeks. Hopefully I'll be back in before another month goes by. No promises though, because we've got lots going on and it's a really busy summer, and I'm hoping that I really hope that I manage to get it done, but if it doesn't, I'll be back, I promise. It might just be a little later. Anyway, so I also wanted to say really huge thank you to everybody who watches. I really love that there are people out there that just want to sit and watch me talk. Because it feels like we're having a I know you're not talking, but well, maybe you are talking. I talk back to my podcast. But it feels to me like we're having a conversation, and like this is like knitting group time for me. So yeah, I really enjoy that you guys subscribe and watch, and I really appreciate you guys. So thanks for that. Thanks for hanging around. Thanks for sticking with me. Yeah. Anyway, I should go. I'm just kind of waffling now. Bye guys. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you next time.